evening. My name is Wendy, and I'm your host for tonight. I just want to see real quick, can you guys comment where we are, Zooming from, connecting from? Maybe you're at a coffee shop, you're at home. Let's just see some comments going. I know it's Sunday. I hope you took your nap after church and you are ready for tonight. Okay, we got Connecticut in the house. I'm from Brooklyn, so okay, Maryland. Also to add to it, where's the continents being presented? If you're American, if you're Ghanaian, if you're a Nigerian, we got Jamaicans in the house, maybe. I'm Kenyan, so I'm repping the East Africa. Oh, wow, Ohio, okay, yes. Sierra Leone, all right. So we got Ghanaians, okay. Not gonna get into the Jollof Wars today, but because I think we're outnumbered today. But welcome, everybody. Again, my name is Wendy. The host tonight. And before we even get into everything, I just want to encourage you guys to just kind of tune in today. It's going to be a night full of just so much nuggets, and the speakers have prepared. They're so ready. And I assure you that if you just kind of tune in, zoom out anything that might distract you tonight, to just really feed in and to really soak in everything that's going to come for you tonight, because you're not here by mistake. Like, you're here for a purpose. And before we even get started, I'm just going to hand it off to Miss Lucy, if she's in the house, to start us off with a prayer, because we want to bring God first into this meeting. So she can take over.
Hi, everyone. So let's say a quick prayer before we start. If you want to close your eyes, you can. I'm going to close my eyes. So, Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for today. We thank you for giving us such a lovely day. Thank you for bringing us together, from the organizers, the speakers, participants, to the host. We thank you for such a great day. We pray, Lord, and commit everything into your hands. We pray, committing from the tech to the speakers, everyone into your hands, that your will be done at the end of this day. We also pray, Lord, committing those that are yet to join us into your hands, that you will remind them. We pray, Lord, and ask that you will let everything flow smoothly. We pray and ask that you will be in our midst. You said, where two or three are gathered, you are there in their midst. So we are inviting you to come be the chairman and take control of this entire situation, so that at the end we will not forget to give you all the praise. We thank you because we know this is going to be a successful event. And thank you for answered prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And just one more thing, guys. I want to encourage you guys to turn the camera on. I know, you might be shy, but this is literally a safe space. We're going to get into topics of like everything. And so if you're comfortable, we encourage you to have your computer on. You might meet a new sister tonight, a new friend, a divine, just divine friendship tonight, divine connection. So turn those cameras on. We want to see your beautiful face, your background, whatever it is. So yeah, but welcome again. And you can take over, Abby.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to our World Class Woman 2022 Loving Me event. Although we are virtual, we still feel all of your presence here with us. We just want to thank you for coming. And tonight we're going to be having a great panel of different segments, all related to self-care, self-love, lifestyle, fashion, beauty. I don't want to say too much, just stay tuned. It's going to be great. Just a few reminders to just be engaged. You never know what you're going to learn tonight. Just take note of all gems that are coming your way, and just be engaged and just be ready to receive anything that's coming tonight. We have Miss Lois, who's going to be talking a little bit more about our organization for those of you who are new and have never heard of World Class Woman. Maybe you just got invited by a friend. So she's going to dive more into who we are, what we've been doing, and what we plan to do. And just stay tuned. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, message us privately, and anything like that. We're here to serve you. Thank you so much once again for coming.
Hello. Welcome to 2022 World Class Women Loving Me. We are definitely, excited to have each and every one of you all here. I know we have a great event that's happening tonight, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but we are World Class Women. We were founded in 2017. By God's grace, this year, we will be celebrating 5 years in September. The whole, mission of our organization is to confidently develop women of color of all ages into the best versions of themselves. We have our foundation, our organization is founded on 4 main significant pillars: spiritual, physical, emotional, and career development. We call them SPEC goals. And so all the programs we do, the IG lives, the community service, it's all surrounded on our foundation or pillar. So for today, our pillar that we are focusing on is emotional. So as women, as Black women, we like to get cute, we like to go out, we like to look good, feel good, but we also know that if we look good, feel good, but we don't feel good on the inside, there's no point. And so the whole point of this event is to talk about, our beauty, our outside, but also deal with the things on our inside, like our mental health. And so throughout this program, as Ms. Abby has mentioned, if you have any questions, if you want to know more about our organization, head to our website at www.worldclasswomen.org to learn more about us. And again, we'll be celebrating 5 years in September, and we're going to have a big celebration. So we are just inviting all of you guys in advance and look forward to location, time, date, and all of that. And so before I hand it back over to Wendy, I just want to take the opportunity to introduce our board. Again, I'm Ms. Lois Asemnor. I am one of the founders of World Class Women. The other founder is Ms. Julia Apong right now, but she's not able to be here. And then we also have Ms. Abigail Afori, who is the program operations chair. Say hi, Abby. And then we also have Ms. Lucy Ajay, who is the treasurer of World Class Women. You want to say, hey, Lucy? And then we also have our interns, Ms. Amanda Afori as well. So again, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to DM us on IG or hit us up in the chat box, and we are here to serve you. And I will hand it right over to Ms. Wendy.
Thank you so much. So yes, again, welcome again. I'm super excited for tonight, and just to kind of, warm up the space a bit. We already kind of saw where everyone's from. I love that I also see some guys in the chat, because I think sometimes when we talk about Loving Me, we always forget the guys, because the guys need to learn all these things that we're always learning. So I guess really quickly, guys in the chat, what does Loving Me even mean for you guys? Like when you decided to kind of hop on this call today, what were you expecting? So just let's see some answers today, and then we'll also check in after to see if it really aligns, blows your mind with what you maybe came into the session today. So what does loving me mean for you? Just really quickly, let's see some answers, some responses. For some, it could like going out to eat, or getting that iced coffee from Starbucks if you love Starbucks like me, little things like that, or actually going into therapy, or what does that mean for you? See the responses. Wow, that is good. Seeing myself the way God sees me. Okay, Dolores, already dropping bars. Self-love, yes, definitely. I love that. Come on, everyone. I want everyone to participate. Don't be shy. Trust me, like your answer probably relates to somebody else. Trust me. Learning to love ourselves from a godly perspective. That is good. What about like practical things that you would do? Yes, drinking water. That's really good. That's actually very crucial. Sometimes, it's like 2 a.m. and you think you're hungry, but you're not really hungry. Like you just need to drink water. Yeah, definitely resting. I love that. I guess, what are some of the expectations that you have coming in? Let's see some of those really quickly before we even get into the program. Avoiding burnout. Yeah, I think burnout is one of those things that in our culture, we kind of believe burnout equal to success. There's like that flawed view of like, if you don't work, then you're not really like pursuing success, right? There's that like
opposite views. So that's really good. Knowing when you are about to burn out so you don't crash. That's also another thing. I'm sure we'll definitely touch on that. But I love that. And some of the questions today that, I was just sitting about, we're going to touch beauty, we're going to touch mental health, just feeling good on the inside out. And I think some of the questions some of the answers that you guys are giving is just, I think some of the times, one of the things that I always say is like self-care is so good, right? But sometimes it's like, it can be portrayed so differently. Like sometimes if you're just going to like I don't know, like working out is so good. But then today I'm excited to know about like the inner working out, right? Because you could work out on the gym, but then it's not like you're not tapping into the inside of you to be fully like well. Do we have any other responses? You guys are kind of quiet. Let's keep it going. I love the energy. We have about 21 people, so there should be 21 responses. Also, guys, if you stay until the end, we have a survey that you can fill out and you get a gift back from Target. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Target, you don't want to miss out. So you have to stay until the end to fill out the survey. And then, of course, as we go throughout our sessions with our different speakers, there's going to be a chance to win a gift card. So keep in mind, as we go throughout this whole session, you have a chance to win a few goodies, especially the gift bag at the end, okay? And you have to fill out a survey. So just have those in mind, because we appreciate you guys making time to really come out here and, receive, but we also want to give back. So yeah. Well, I'm not going to take too much time. I think that we can get started on, and the first speaker that I would love to share, Abby, is that okay? I know, let's just keep it going.
Yes, can you introduce yourself a little bit and tell about your wonderful self as well?
Well, I'm Wendy. I currently reside in Brooklyn. But as I said earlier, I'm Kenyan, and I'm also the current Miss Kenya USA. I am passionate about a lot of things, and one of them is mental health and mental health advocacy. I believe that our culture, not just America right now with COVID, is definitely coming around in terms of like really embracing mental health, but the Kenyan community, the African community as a whole, we still have some miles to kind of go. So my job is to really create safe spaces where people can feel empowered to really tap into those spaces that have kind of been told that you shouldn't talk about these things, or you shouldn't feel like this, or to just figure out why you are feeling a certain way and learn practical ways to deal with those emotional things that are happening, mental things that are happening, so that you can be a healthy being. I think in our continent as Africans, we lean a lot on the spiritual, which is great. I love God like crazy. But another thing is always just learning that spiritual maturity also really precedes a lot of like mental health, like you have to be healthy mentally so that you can be spiritually healthy. Just there's so many things that intertwine that we aren't really taught as a community. And so that's just one of the things that I'm really passionate about. And I'm super excited to kind of get into everything that we are going to talk about tonight. So that's a little bit about me. And besides that, I love music. I love fashion. I love Afro gospel. I love music. I love everything. Okay. But tonight, I'm so honored to meet queens who are just, killing it in their spaces of purpose. They are constantly changing lives in the spaces that they've been called to. And I can't wait for you guys to hear what they have to share. So without further ado, our first speaker tonight is Miss Denise Osei. And as you heard that last name, she's from Ghana. So I know we got Ghanaians in the house. So shout out to the GH crowd. So Miss Denise Osei is a digital content creator. Yes, let's shout her out in the chat. tell her welcome. Let's definitely show the love tonight. She's a digital content creator and a storyteller. In 2008, Denise launched DeniseOsei.com, a platform for millennial women around the world to discover inspiration in life, style, and travel. She enjoys creating entertaining, relatable, and eye-catching content for our audience. When she's not traveling, you'll find her expressing her charming sense of style, as well as strategically curating stories that bridges the gap between her creativity and everyday life. Denise has been invited to share her expertise on personal branding, travel and fashion, and women empowerment at related events. By day, Denise works as a social media strategist, and tonight she is gracing us with her presence. So Miss Denise, welcome, beautiful. Take it over.
Thank you, Wendy. Oh my gosh, what an intro. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all so much, especially World Class Women Organization. Thank you for having me. And before I jump into what I'm going to be talking about tonight, let me share my screen because I have a presentation, a part of what I'll be discussing. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up from somebody? Make sure I'm good. Yes, great. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, again, good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Osei, and I'm so happy to be a part of this wonderful event. Today, I'll be discussing how to find confidence in your closet. I believe there's a lot of power in how we present ourselves to the world through fashion, through beauty, through content, whether you're a content creator or not, but just how we present ourselves to the world career-wise, just whatever we want to do in life. As soon as we step out the door, how do we want to present that? So before I dive into that, I want to tell you a little bit more about who I am. Wendy did a good job, but I'm gonna just kind of repeat that. By day, I work as a public relations and social media strategist, but in my heart, I'm a content creator. I've been doing this for ever since like 2015, and I'm still on this journey. I'm still growing, I'm still evolving, and I've learned some things along the way. So I'm so happy to be here to share what I've learned so far. It was always a dream of mine to inspire women that looks like me through fashion, lifestyle, and travel. So in 2017, I launched a blog and decided to share this passion with the world. I also co-created a travel community for Black women called Traveling Coco Girls. So if you're on Instagram and travel is your thing, feel free to check us out at Traveling Coco Girls on Instagram. And while I'm still on this journey, I'm so thankful to God for how far I've come. In fact, let me show you how far I've come. This is me, 16-year-old me. And in high school, all I cared about was looking good. I cared about my grades. I mean, I was trying to graduate, but all I cared about was looking good. And what I wore in this era and in this season was so important to me. I wanted to feel important, and new trendy clothes did that for me. I was always going to the thrift store because, back then the thrift store was really in style. Everyone was at the thrift store, but I was always buying something new. I was always at the mall. Olive Olay. I know y'all remember Olive Olay. I was always trying to buy something new from there, whether it was the newest sneakers, the newest tight rib dress from Rainbow, you name it. But when I look back on this girl, while I'm so proud of who she is now and how she's evolved, sometimes I cringe because even in the midst of all those clothes that I had, I kept my hair looking good. I had the invisible part. You couldn't tell me nothing. I still lacked confidence and self-love. I always enjoyed tapping into fashion and beauty, but marrying that with confidence and boldness and the personality that I have now was something that I lacked back then. So this is what, really inspired me to go on this journey of discovering not just who I am on the inside, or not just who I am on the outside, but who I am on the inside, and allowing those two to coincide. So I want to talk about how to find confidence in your closet. And let me start by saying, again, it is a journey. It's not one day you'll go to sleep, you'll wake up, and all of a sudden you're just a slay queen. Some days you're not going to feel your best, and that's okay. It takes time to cultivate, and it also takes time to evolve. So yes, personal style is a journey. So I'm just going to kind of break this down in a few points, and feel free to drop any questions that you have along the way into the chat. And then once I get through it, I'm happy to answer them. So let go of the past. This can translate into a lot of things, right? We want to let go of what doesn't serve us anymore. And for me, that was really like when I graduated college, I was holding on to so much clothes, so much products that I barely used, but I wanted it because it was the latest. I wanted it because it was trendy. I saw somebody on YouTube had it, so I just had to have it. And I barely used it. It barely served me. So let go of the past. With every season in life, it's important we let go of whatever is holding us back, whether it's people, whether it's negativity, destructive habits, but specifically clothes or even products that we got in our little cabinet in our bathroom that just doesn't serve us anymore. Make room to replace items of quality, of something you see yourself using every single day. Even if it runs out, you know you have to have it, whether it's the latest skincare product that transformed your skin, whether it's just that quality dress that whenever you wear it, you feel like that boss that you are. Hang that dress up and kind of remove whatever other clothing or pieces of item or clothing items that just doesn't do that for you. If it doesn't fit, toss it out. If it no longer represents who you are today, toss it out.
Including trends.
Oh, did somebody say something? Okay. If you haven't worn it in a season's time, then toss it out. And what I mean by that, if you bought something last spring and this spring comes along and you look at it and you can't even imagine yourself wearing it anymore, then let it go. And what I mean by letting it go or tossing it out doesn't mean it has to go in the dustbin or in the trash can. Sometimes that means donating. Sometimes that means reaching out to a friend, or maybe you come across someone in need and like, hey girl, or would you want this? Is this something that you can vibe with? What if I gave this to you? Maybe what you no longer want is a treasure for someone else and they can actually treasure it. So yeah, let go of the past. So I have a question for you, and this is hypothetical. You can drop your answer into the chat and we will go ahead and, answer that towards the end. But who do you follow on social media for fashion inspo? This is something that I just want you to ask yourself. Are you truly inspired by them, or is it because everyone's following them? Or do you have a desire to be more like them, but it's more toxic than something that's inspirational? That's my question for you, because social media is littered with toxicity. We know this already. It feeds people's body dysmorphia, body image, like that's a whole presentation on its own. But I asked, who's your inspiration? Because a lot of the times what we feed are insecurities. You all know the saying that our eyes are the window to our soul, and what we consume and what we feed ourselves is also important on how we see ourselves and how we present ourselves. Are we being authentic to our true selves, or are we just trying to do X, Y, and Z because this person online did X, Y, and Z? And that goes the same way with, discovering our personal style and discovering who we are in our closet as well as in public. So it's important to filter out the noise and follow people who truly inspire you. And that's one thing I try to live by when it comes to who I'm following. And I know I tell myself this all the time. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody's going to want to follow me, and that's okay. And maybe how I present myself online might make someone else feel like they're not where they want to be in life. And if they feel like they can't follow me because they don't want to constantly compare, by all means, don't follow me. And that should be the same kind of thing you apply to other people that you see on social media. But specifically with fashion-wise, is that person that you're following, is whatever they're posting, does it make you constantly think about your own insecurities and you start to build on that and it becomes more negative than healthy? kind of reconsider following that person, or just consider what you're consuming. Because not all the time is it a person, maybe it's a brand. We all know those clothing lines that are promoting one kind of body and it's the nipped and tucked and such. And then it's just like, by the time you try to find what you truly want to wear and look like, you're comparing that yourself mentally to what you've seen from what brands are pushing and where everyone's shopping. So one of my favorite influencers at the moment is Tanika B. I love her. Let me tell you something. She just, one thing that really inspires me about her is like, she's so fearless and bold with how she presents herself fashion wise. And, you know, you can tell she's done the work within her, and she's just like very bold. So, and she does that through color. She plays around with color combinations, color blocking, and I find true inspiration in that. I don't go to sleep wishing I was Tanika B. I just go to sleep more motivated after seeing her stuff. Like, yeah, the next time I go shopping, I'm gonna think of that color combo, but I'm not going to do it or apply it in a way that's toxic, if that makes sense. Which leads me to my next point. Next slide. Why is it not changing? Don't be afraid to play with color. I was doing some research, especially for this presentation, but in the past I've done research on color theory and how psychologically color actually helps boost our behavior, our mood, our emotion. Why do I feel like I keep hearing somebody talking? I want to make sure I'm not talking over anybody, but please.
No, you're not. Denise, you're fine. Everyone, please, if you're in a loud place, if you're having conversation behind, just please mute until Denise is finished. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. So yeah, so playing around with color or adding more color to your wardrobe can actually do yourself a great deal in the terms of just how, just rewiring how you see yourself in the mirror. Me being a dark-skinned woman, dark-skinned African woman, when I was growing up, I was like, I cannot wear yellow. I cannot wear red lipstick. I look crazy. I look this, I look that. Like, I was constantly beating myself up about certain colors I can wear and what I cannot wear. And now I've gotten to a place where you can't tell me I can't wear a certain color. Like, that's not gonna happen. So I really enjoy just playing around with color and just seeing, just seeing other women doing that as well. So I really encourage you, like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with an all black outfit. I love an all black outfit, especially when you do like a pop, the color, like a red heel. I love that. But have you ever really explored color? When you go on vacation, are you wearing the turquoises and the pinks and the blues? Have you really played around with that? And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that will definitely boost your confidence in how you see yourself, especially if it's a color that you can just slay effortlessly. So, yeah, so within the last 3 years, playing around with color has really boosted my confidence. And I also want to encourage you all to do the same and diversify the colors that are in your wardrobe as you're discovering your personal style. And lastly, personal style is 360. And what I mean by that is it is an holistic approach. It's not just the clothes. It's not just the denim. It's not just the jeans or the heels. It's not just about what you wear or how you wear it. I know a lot of people say, like, it's not about what you wear or how you wear it. Yes, that's true, but it's also how it makes you feel. How does it make you feel? Do you feel confident or do you feel like uncomfortable? That's one thing about me. If I don't feel comfortable in what I'm wearing, I'm not wearing it. And sometimes people feel maybe forced to feel uncomfortable because this is just what's in style. This is what's trending. But honestly, how you feel on the inside should take priority. It should take precedent over everything else when it comes to what you're wearing. And that's how you really, tap into what your personal style is. How does it make you feel? It also includes your genuine self. When I look in my closet, I'm so happy that I'm actually building like a timeless capsule of items to wear. So even if it's just a plain blouse like this and I throw on some jeans, I still feel my best. I still feel confident. I still feel bold because the work I've done on the inside allows me to be minimal and still feel bold at the same time, if that makes sense. And then also personal style includes the hair, it includes the makeup, it includes the earrings. So you're going to be hearing from Essie later on, and I know she's going to do a great makeup tutorial, but that's just one of the many additions to your personal style. What is the holistic approach? How do I feel 360? And those are questions just to ask yourself as you're really tapping into who you are style-wise, how you want to present yourself to the world. So again, how you feel outwardly without compromising who you are on the inside is very important when discovering your personal style. So I just thank you guys for listening. I want to remind you of these words that I mentioned in the beginning. Everything is a journey, including your personal style, your confidence, and your closet. Please keep in mind as you're discovering this, who you are inside and out, and let go of anything that doesn't serve you, as I mentioned in the beginning. I'm talking about what's in your closet, but that can be anything else in your life. If it's people, if it's habits, if it's anything that's holding you back, let it go. And allow who inspires you to do just that. Let them inspire you. Don't allow them to, and it's not, and what I mean by that is they might not be doing it on purpose. They might just be living their best life on social media, but how are you internalizing that? That's very important. So if they're not inspiring you and whatever your feelings are is becoming more negative, then let's address that. Let's challenge ourselves to replace that with something else. And don't be afraid of color. And again, personal style is 360. So thank you. That's it. That was my quick presentation. But in addition to your questions, when I'm giving away a gift card at the end of this, I do want to know what you would describe your personal style as. Even if you're still kind of figuring it out, like right now in this moment, how would you describe your personal style? For me, I would say my style is a mix of, modesty as well as minimalism, but still chic, I add a little bit of trends in there, but not too much, but I still like, a blend of different things. But at the end of the day, I'm just a big fan of less is more. And I like, the silhouettes, things that accentuate my curves, but doesn't really show much. And it could just be a simple red turtleneck dress or something like that. But the way I feel in that just makes me feel the best. So yeah, that's my presentation. And I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we can move on to the questions. Okay, let's see what we got. I love you guys. You guys are really engaging. I didn't see any of this, but you guys were really engaging. I love that. Okay, I see one. How do you know the difference between filtering who to follow or if you're potentially feeling jealous? That's a really good question, Wendy, and thank you for that question. I think discernment is a really big thing. And I learned that through my spiritual journey, just like discernment, period. Like whenever I'm trying to hear from God, that kind of discernment, that's the same kind of, feeling that I use whenever I try to ask myself, am I feeling jealous? Am I feeling envious? Like, what are these feelings? Like I ask myself those questions. And if 9 times out of 10, I'm telling myself, yes, you are, then that's how I choose how to filter out who I'm following. And 9 times, it's been very few and in between because I take control in who I click the follow button on anyway. It's not just, let me just follow, and then filter out. It's more so, even on YouTube, who am I subscribing to? I'll probably watch 1 video or 2 or 3. And then if the feelings that I feel after watching their videos, if it's not inspirational, if it's not motivational, if it's not encouragement, if it's not uplifting, if it's anything other than those feelings, most likely negative, then that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna subscribe to her. Big props to her though. Love what she's doing. But if those feelings aren't really, making me wanna yeah, I love what she's doing. And I feel like I can take bits and pieces of that and really, funnel that into how I'm growing positively. If I don't have that kind of mindset afterwards, then 9 times out of 10, yeah, I don't need to follow or subscribe or consume any more of their content. And I try my best not to. But sometimes people are just everywhere. It's hard to avoid them. Let's say there's a celebrity and it's hard to get away from them. Still, maybe just minimize the time that you're on that specific platform. I know I try my best not to scroll through Instagram before I go to bed because it's a lot of celebrity gossip, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that, and what other people are doing. So I try my best to just kind of contain that with like how much time I'm spending on that platform. So maybe it's not people, maybe it's the time you're giving to it, maybe it's like the work you're doing offline or like internally. Are you doing that work? And are you able to scroll and peruse through social media like without any of those feelings? Because some people aren't attached to social media like others are. And that's because they've done the work offline. They know who they are. They've become more centered in themselves. They've, learned how to do the self-love and self-care thing without social media being a part of that. And so it's easier for them to discern. Let me see if I see any more questions. Oh yes, I love me an all white look too. Yes, modest and comfort, comfy and casual. Okay. What's your favorite thing about being a fashion content creator? Ooh, my favorite thing about being a fashion content creator, I think just adding my voice into the mix. I think there's a lot of people now that have become content creators and bloggers versus when I first started doing it. I feel like there was the select few who they were only, posting this kind of way and talking like bloggers and doing. I feel like the community was much smaller than it is now, basically. And now it's so many different kinds of content creators. Like you have people creating content around their daily routine. Like I haven't seen so many videos about people making their bed. Like everyone's making their bed now. And I'm just like, okay. So everyone's like, creating content. I'm just happy to add my voice into the mix, add my, unique twist to it, and really show off my fashion, show off the things that I love and what I'm passionate about. And Lucy asks, how do you start introducing color into your wardrobe? What are the safe bets? I really love that question. And what I would say is start with the basics, which would be whether it can be like what you're wearing inside of something. Like let's say you have a blazer. Maybe the top is pink on the inside. Maybe you're getting more tank tops that aren't white or black. Maybe you're getting bodysuits underneath that aren't white and black or nude. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's yellow, maybe it's blue. So whenever you want to wear something and add a pop of color, you can start with something on the inside of whatever that outfit is, and you have it tucked in to maybe your black pants and your black blazer, and that's your pop of color. So I would really say start with the pop of color, whether it's a pop of color in your shoes or in your handbag, in your accessories, or in like your what would you call it? Like your undergarments, like your basics, your tank tops, your bodysuits and stuff like that. And I think the last question I'm going to answer is what has been the hardest part of being a fashion content creator? I see another one, but I'll answer this one. The hardest part is the comparison thing. And that's what really led me to share that with you all, because I was in a season where I was always constantly comparing myself to other people. It's really easy to compare yourself to other people, especially on social media. It's just like, what's that person doing? Am I not doing good enough? Am I not this? Am I not that? And then you just develop imposter syndrome. Like, I don't deserve these things. I'm not good enough to have what that person has. But it's not about that. God has called each and every one of us for such a time as this. Like, whatever you want to put out into the world, even if one person sees it, that one person can be and will be inspired. And that's just one thing I'm still telling myself this, because every now and then I get down, no one's perfect. I have bad days where I'm just like, I don't want to do none of this. I'll probably go missing from social media for like 2 weeks and come back because I'm in my head a lot. So I definitely think comparison is one thing that can definitely get hard as just a general content creator. And I think that's it. And so I see some answers here for the personal style thing, which is amazing. And I'm going to choose one of y'all to win a gift card. Yeah? Oh, I think I missed someone. Oh, Kristen. Oh, sorry, I missed your question. Sorry. Let me see if I can find it really quickly, and that'll be my last question I answer. I'm graduating school in May and feeling lost about my life and which direction I want to go in. How did you go about career choices? How did you go about career choices when graduating from college, and do you have any advice? Whew, that was a journey. When it came to like graduating from school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in the world of communications. I didn't talk much about my career, but I studied communications in college. And after college, I immediately went to grad school. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing school until I figure it out. And that's not the best decision for everyone because student loans are real. So I would suggest like really, praying about it and seeing where your heart leads you. But as soon as I started college, I knew that I wanted to be in the world of communications. But one thing that did help me is that I have a lot of mentorship while in college. And I know you're graduating very soon, but if it's not too late for you to find a mentor or someone that has a career that you would be interested in, and linking with them and seeing if that would be a great fit for you. LinkedIn is a great platform for that. So maybe checking out some career paths that other people are currently on, and if you can connect with them and talk to them about it. So I think that would be my advice to you. And that's it.
Wow, Denise, you're amazing. Wow.
I talk a lot, but thank you.
You speak a lot of wisdom. So that was really good. That was just so amazing. I think one of the things that I always love about, webinars or, events like this is when you can truly feel like someone is not just presenting, but is actually living what they're presenting to you. And I can just authentically feel like your presentation was just spot on, so authentic, so transparent. And man, I'm excited because I think some of the things that you were talking about, even about like just kind of embarking the journey of like a content creator, those sort of things, personally for me, I've held myself back. And, it's like you look nice, but it's like, okay, but why am I not doing this? For me, it's like, oh, I want to wait till I get a good camera. But you have everything.
Oh, no. Start now.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This was so good. You're amazing. And definitely, guys, Denise, I don't know if you want to type like your social media information if people want to connect with you, to check out your content, because I think you gave really great tips also in terms of like just, how to implement color. I remember being, when I first came to America, I remember how I started hating wearing white, because one time I wore this white tank top and I had a track meeting. And then this one African-American girl was like, dang, you can only see her teeth. So I was just like, oh my God, I'm never going to wear white again. So I was so anti-color. But, like you said, self-work, God, and just finally getting to really love yourself, how God loves you. You're like, this melanin, y'all want to be dark skinned, y'all out here doing something now. So we thank God for the transformation. So one thing, Denise, before we kind of head over to the other session, I just wanted to ask if you already have someone in mind who's going to get the lucky gift card.
Yes, I do. I'm going to choose.
Drum rolls, okay.
I'm going to choose Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah?
Yes, Amanda. Amanda, so if you are listening, please.
Hey, girl.
Yes, please email info@worldclasswomen.com please, you have to email, because if you don't, your blessing just go to the other person, but we want the blessing to come to you. Thank you guys for participating. Please, please, please keep the energy going. We have so much going on. So I'm gonna go to the next one. This was so great. And our next speaker is Fanny. And guys, Denise gave us a nice one, and we're going deeper. We're just going deeper. So Fanny, when love is the topic of discussion, it's not uncommon for people to have different views. Fanny Sase greatest passion is bringing clarity and healing to people fighting for better love and better relationships. So if that already hit you, just comment, be like, yes. As a Black love connoisseur, Fanny strongly believes that Black love is rooted in resilience and hope and healing. Black love starts from within and works itself throughout friendships, familiar relationship, and marriage. Guys, yes, I love the yes. I love it. I love it. Keep going. With over 7 years of experience, Fanny specializes in working with Black adolescents, families, and couples, emphasizing on self-love, empowerment, and education. Fanny's style is warm and includes providing a therapeutic space for Black women and Black women of color using a social justice lens. Fanny believes that the client is the expert in their lives. Wow. Her educational background includes a master's in social work, a concentration in integrated youth behavioral health, and a BA in social work. She is a licensed clinical social worker in New York and New Jersey. She currently works with adolescent in a pediatric clinic focusing on teenage pregnancy, gender affirming care, and adolescent mental health. Fanny spent years mentoring young women of color through nonprofit work. She's skilled in cognitive behavior therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy, motivational interviewing, and solutions-focused therapy. Fanny also uses this framework to personalize each client's treatment plan, creating the perfect vibe for all love to flourish. So y'all, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Like, are you ready? Let me see the comments, because she's taking us there, y'all. She's taking us there. We've talked about fashion, content creating. Now we're about to dive deep. So, put your seatbelt on if it wasn't on already. And Fanny, take over.
Thank you, Wendy. That was such a beautiful intro. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Fanny Sase. I go by the Black Love Therapist of Where Black Love Matters. My voice is like a little coarse because I'm a little sick today. Not COVID, God bless, but I'm feeling a little congested. So I'm like trying really hard to talk and get my words out. But yeah, I own a private therapy practice. It's called Where Black Love Matters. I started this practice because I really wanted to focus on everything Black. I think as Black people, we've been spending a lot of time trying to prove that our lives matter and not enough focus on like the love in our lives, right? And so while we should be fighting for our lives and fighting for justice, we should also be focusing on love, right? Ourselves, loving each other, and things like that. So yeah, in my private practice, I see individuals, couples, families. I practice through a social justice lens. So like whenever you talk to me, I'll always be kind of looking at like how some of these social injustices impact how we're feeling about ourselves, how we're feeling about love or the people around us. And so I wanted to give a big special thank you to World Class Women for having me today and having me talk to you all and share space with you all. So a big pillar of like Black love for me is self-love. As Black people, we've been kind of like taught or like told not to love ourselves by the media, just by the environment in this country. It's like, it's all points towards like not loving ourselves. And so sharing love within our community or having some self-love is like an act of resistance. And so I really like to emphasize on that, on making sure that we're loving on ourselves and loving ourselves.
I think the media also has programmed us to feel like self-love only consists of pampering and like luxury. While I do feel like those are all parts of self-love, um, self-love also can mean like work sometimes, right? Like self-care can look like hard work. It may not always be like fun. And so that's what I kind of want to focus on today. Not that um, it's a negative, but like we should also, while practicing self-care, look at some of the things that we don't love to do that are hard for us. And so my topic today is healthy relationships. And I think that you need healthy relationships in order to practice self-care, right? It's a huge part. We have to make sure that the people in our lives, the relationships that we're investing in are not like toxic, that they're healthy so that we also can have like a quality of life, right? So I want us to think a little bit about like, what does it feel like? And you guys can go ahead and hit up the chat, but like, how do you feel when you're in a relationship that you deem to be like healthy or like, a good relationship? So for example, when I'm in a healthy relationship with someone, like it just makes me feel like powerful. I'm always like in a good mood when seeing or talking to that person. So share a little bit about how you all feel. Someone says they feel safe when they're in like a healthy relationship. Peace personified, that's great. Respected and valued, comfortable and happy. Yeah, those are all supported. That's like number one. At peace, that's a big one. When you're in a healthy relationship, you really do feel at peace and happy. Okay, great. And these relaxed, right? Relax. I think like when we think about self-care, we think about relaxing. So I'm happy that Lucy like wrote that in the chat, right? Because if you're not in a healthy relationship, then you're not relaxed, then you're not practicing self-care. So empowered, safe. Yeah. And I don't feel like it needs to be perfect for sure. Definitely not. And then let's take a quick turn and talk about like, how do you feel when you're in a relationship that feels or maybe deemed as like unhealthy, toxic, not so great, right? Let's drop some of those in the chat. Like for me, I just feel exhausted when I'm in a drained, on edge, stressed. Stress is the opposite of self-care. So, we wouldn't be practicing self-care if you're in like a toxic relationship, self-conscious, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so like, when you're in a healthy relationship, obviously you feel love, you feel affirmed, right? You feel confident. And most importantly, you feel at peace. So throughout your day, like if I had a bunch of healthy relationships around me, then when I'm at home by myself, I'm just relaxing, I'm chilling, I'm at peace. I can watch my Netflix shows and not have anything like in my mind. But on the opposite side, like if you're in a toxic relationship or unhealthy relationship, you're feeling stressed, on edge. Like whenever you talk to that person,
No, I
you're
don't
not
know.
really
Something
sure
my friends, I don't know what they're doing.
where it's
Oh,
gonna
I think it's
go.
this girl. I know she has a foundation.
Sorry, honey.
And I guess they're talking about something, but
Please.
Can you please mute yourself?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I like lost my train of thought, but we'll be back. So yeah, so when you're in an unhealthy relationship, you're feeling drained, on edge, not really confident, anxious is a big one, right? Like if you're in a toxic relationship, you're feeling anxious, you're questioning yourself because you're like, am I doing something wrong? Like, how am I like adding to this? Which are all healthy questions, but if you're feeling that way often, then that's not self-care, because what happens when that person is not directly around you is that you're still feeling that way. So instead of like feeling comfortable and free to watch your Netflix show, now you're like feeling anxious because you might have to talk to that person tomorrow. What should I say? How should I present myself? And so while you could have been binging a show, you were really just like in your mind and not actually practicing self-care, right? So that's not healthy. So today I just really wanted to share two tips on how to cultivate healthy relationships. And this is something I work on with a lot of my clients. So one of them is setting boundaries. So this one is really tricky because setting boundaries is not easy at all. And I feel like, especially in the Black community, setting boundaries can get real tough, right? So setting boundaries is really protecting your peace, right? It's sharing with people, someone in a relationship with you, whether it's a friend, intimate partner, or a family member, what you like, what you don't like, what makes you feel good, what you need out of the relationship. Um, and sometimes people can interpret that as a knock on them, right? Like as you're saying something negative about them, while it may not always mean that, right? So setting boundaries, something I've had to do in my practice. I've been a social worker for some time now, and I believe I was a social worker therapist before I even got the degree of the certifications, right? Like this is me. This is who I've been. And I've been this way for my friends, for my family. People just come and talk to me, and I take everything in and I give advice. I'm like, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. And as I started to get into the work, it became a lot, right? Because I'm holding people's feelings and emotions at work, and then you come home and you're doing the same thing at home. So I'm like, whoa, this doesn't really work for me. It's starting to feel heavy. So a boundary that I've had to set with my friends and families is before you unload on me, which I would love to be there for you, I want to be supportive and I want to share my expertise. But before you unload on me, just ask me if I have the capacity or the space to listen to this at this time, right? And initially, when I was thinking about setting that boundary, I was like, somebody's going to take this the wrong way. I don't want to be there for them. Or now that I'm a therapist, I don't have time for my friends and family, So it made me nervous to set this boundary with my friends. But I know that it was something I had to do for my own self-care. So I did end up setting that boundary, and it took time. It was a lot of push and pull, right? People would just call me and start talking. I'm like, well, remember I said that I need you to ask me if I had the capacity. Right now, I'm not in a space where I can listen, maybe let's try this tomorrow. Or, I'm just not taking these things on until Wednesday, let's chat. I'm really busy right now. So it's not easy, but it's something that I've had to kind of learn to do just to protect my peace, to protect my relationships. So I'm not becoming resentful to the people that are, sharing information with me. So boundaries are not always easy, but very important, right? Because now I don't have any resentment towards my friends. Sometimes I can be there for them in that way, and other times I can't. And they understand that I'm not being rude. I don't hate them. It's me, right? It's me, not you. It's one of those things when it comes to boundaries. The second, well, I'll start by saying boundaries in the Black community, specifically the African community, I understand can be taken as disrespect to some people, right? And I want to acknowledge that because it's here, right? And so people often say, how do I set boundaries with my parents, my family members, my aunts? And I think that is really difficult, right? And you just kind of have to be ready to really center yourself, right? Put yourself first, and step out into some of those difficult things, right? Lean into it, because at the end, it does yield good results, right? And so this brings me into my second tip, which is effective communication around your boundaries. You have to know how to communicate it. And each person is different, right? You may be able to communicate your boundaries to your husband differently than you can communicate it to your mother, differently than you can communicate it to your sister. So really paying attention to who's in the room, who you're talking to. But one thing I will say is when you center your boundaries around self, it really does yield good results. So, for example, Thanksgiving, we all know this is one of those main boundaries, right? Our family members like to talk about your weight, whether you're too small or you're too big. They love to bring it up around the time when we're supposed to be enjoying good food.
So, around Thanksgiving, you might have that aunt that's always like, oh, girl, look at you gaining weight. Look at you putting on the pounds. And it makes you feel bad every Thanksgiving. It just gets you in even if you spent the time, like making yourself good in what you were wearing and being comfortable in who you are, then you got this person just going to bring you back to that space on Thanksgiving. So you want to set boundaries with that person, but how do you set boundaries with an auntie, like where they don't feel disrespected, right? And my advice for that would be give I feel statements, right? And so set your boundaries around like, when this happens, I feel like this, right? So you don't want to say, stop talking about my weight. That's messed up. You can't be talking about my weight at the dinner table. Like that is going to go bad because they're going to feel disrespected. And other things can kind of come up, right? But if you said to your aunt, and listen, I get that this might take some time. We might do this like 3 years in a row before it actually sticks. But if you said to your auntie, like, whenever you talk about my weight at Thanksgiving, it really just puts me in a space that like makes me shut down. I feel sad. I feel uncomfortable around everyone. And so maybe this year, like, can we just not talk about weight at all? Like, I know that you may have my best interest at heart. You may just want to tell me to be healthy, or, that you want me to, get thick so I can find a husband, whatever it is. There's always some reason why they're saying it. But this year, if we could just leave weight off the table so that I can feel comfortable and happy and like really engage, right? And I think that I'm just laughing at this. Gotta fast and pray with some aunties because you really do. But I think that over some time, once you start to use those I feel statements, or when this happens, this makes me feel like, then people just understand your boundaries altogether. So not just at the Thanksgiving table, but like with your friends, if you like make it about you, or with your partner, right? Like I feel like when I'm talking to you and you're also scrolling on Instagram, it makes me feel like you're not listening, right? And so that's a boundary. Like when we're talking about this topic, I'd like if you were like fully engaged, right? Like that makes me feel good. Then you have effectively communicated around your boundaries, and it makes it a little bit easier for the person to receive that, to respect that. And it also makes you more comfortable with sharing those boundaries. So that is my spiel around boundaries, healthy relationships. I kind of wanted to get a sense of like a time when any of you had to set a boundary with like a friend, a partner, a family member, and what that looks like. I'm a therapist, so like I don't spend a lot of time talking in my sessions. I like to listen to folks. So if anyone wants to, you can write in the chat, but also like feel free to unmute yourself and like share with with all the people in the event, like a time you've had to set a boundary, what that looked like for you. Was it easy? Was it hard?
I'll go first. I love this topic because I'm recovering from the savior complex. So I feel like, as a middle child, people always say middle kids have issues, but I don't think we do. I think we actually want to fix the world. That's the difference. We're set apart. Okay. So, but part of it was like having to feel like you have to be, for me, it was like, I was like the wise person. Well, this will come out weird, like just the wise voice in the family. So having to always feel like, your parents are coming to you for like advice, your siblings, and just having to feel like you literally, like nothing happens without you, so you kind of have that weight. So I've had to kind of like, decide like, what, y'all grown too, you can make your own decisions. And part of me was having to believe that if I constantly keep playing the savior role, I kind of, I kind of like take away the opportunity for them to really tap on the savior that they could also lean on. And so for me, it was kind of just like, what, I might be wise, but Jesus can save you too, please. Like I can't do it anymore. But it was so hard because I'm the person who feels like if I can't help you, my world is just going to be like turned around. So that was hard. So sometimes I would look at my phone like, oh, you need help? Okay. The Lord's with you, okay? But yeah, so it still kind of gets me a time, but I'm so much better at that. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That is like, I think that savior complex is real. And I think sometimes we like assume how people are going to receive some of these boundaries, or like, can people stand alone if we set some of these boundaries? And the one thing I'll say is like, you just never know unless you try, right? And the more you try, the better you become at like saving yourself. Anyone else like to share?
Hi, I wanted to say something.
Sure.
So I'm Ghanaian, and my mom can be very, very difficult. When I want to talk to her about something personal, it's either going to go left or it's going to go left. So if I want to have, if I want to have a realistic conversation with her, I literally have to pray and ask God that this will go well. So sometimes whenever I talk to her, it always turns into an argument, and I can say things in the most calming and relaxing way, and she'll find some way to get offended. Even if I use the term I feel like she hates when I say that because it just triggers her, because she says I just say too much. So right now, like, we're in a better place when I talk to her. It still gets into an argument, but I know me and her have different backgrounds because she was raised in Ghana and she's raising an American child. So it's kind of difficult to be on the same page with her. So how would you go about like having serious conversations, especially with somebody with an African background like that?
Yeah, that's a really loaded question. It's a great one, but it's a super loaded question because the thing about relationships is they are two-way, right? And so I want to applaud you for trying different methods or ways to communicate with your mom. I think that's like very important because you want to learn like, how can the person I'm talking to receive the information that I'm giving? But also we have to remember that that person also has work to be done on that end, on their end, right? And the difficult part with our parents is that we can't say like, hey, go do the work you need to do on yourself, right? And they're also our parents, so you can't kind of just like walk away. And so in those situations, I really would just like suggest to continue trying to find ways that like work for you all, that like leave you all in an okay space. It might not be the best. And then also preparing yourself for what a conversation could look like or feel like. So if you need to have a conversation with your mom and you know that it sometimes ends in like an argument, like what does the day before that conversation and the day after that conversation look like? And so typically, if I'm to have a really difficult conversation, most times like in my marriage, if I know I'm gonna bring up something that is gonna like, get a little rough, then the next day, I'm not taking on anything difficult, right? Like, because I need to give myself space to process that. To heal from that conversation, just because like you can do all the work on yourself, but you can't do the work for other people. And we have to be able to accept that and deal with what makes us feel better. So difficult conversations for me, the next day, I'm definitely going to have some jerk chicken because that's my favorite. Or I'm going to have like a nice big, breakfast because that's what feels good to me. I'm going to splurge a little on Starbucks. But that could be different for everybody, like whatever your coping mechanisms are, but you have to really prepare yourself to like go through the conversation, say what needs to be said, obviously in a way you feel like that person can receive it. You do your best, and then you take care of you after and before. Right? Because you already know what you're going into. But sometimes, like a lot of the pre-work makes you assume how that person is going to respond and can show up in how you communicate. But I would say definitely making space the day after. Like I wouldn't do a hard presentation at work the day after, like talking to my mom. Like I wouldn't schedule that conversation, like have that conversation if I knew something difficult was also happening like right after, because you need that space and time. I hope that helped, but that's like a really loaded question. any other questions or, things folks want to share about boundaries, healthy relationships?
I think it's really that was definitely a loaded question. And I think one time I was on Instagram and there was a post that said everyone in therapy is in therapy because of the person who doesn't want to go to therapy. And chances are, a lot of us Africans, first generation or whatever, like a lot of our parents, they need a few sessions, and well, a couple of years, some of them, but it's just so sad because they're still so anti, and they always feel like, I know for my dad, his biggest reason about being anti like therapy is the whole reason about like, I'm not telling anybody my business. Like I could just talk to you, you're good. He calls me a therapist, literally. And I'm just like, yeah, but and it's so tough because I mean, for me, I don't live at home, so I don't have to like necessarily have to deal with everything at home, because even one person said that the best relationship with African parents is long distance, because you're just like so far from them and you kind of get like clarity, some peace, some boundaries, but it's truly like a process. And I know we as millennials, the Gen Zers, we're really coming around, but I always say that family meetings are, I feel like it's something that we all need as a culture. Like we need to have the mom, dad, and all the siblings sit and really have those difficult conversations, because we've never had difficult conversations, like talking about feelings, talking about what's really wrong. Those are things that there was never a space that was curated for that. So whenever it comes up, it does feel like a form of attack to our parents. Like, what do you mean I made you feel some type of way? Like I brought you into this world. There's rice in the fridge. You know what I mean? Like just things like that. So we definitely have a long way to go, but I think it's good that we are hosting spaces like this, even to talk about these things, because we are going to have kids. We are going to be parents. And I know as a therapist, you already know that a lot of the things that we do as individuals are because of the setting that was set when we were younger. So we're still like trying to break these, foundational things that was inserted in us without a choice. So it's definitely like a long way, but definitely happy to just hear everything you had to say tonight.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I think that the best we can do, I think we're at like a pivotal, like if you're like a first generation African, and you come of African parents who are raised in their respective countries, I think we're at a pivotal space where we have the time, the energy, and the motivation to change what this looks like for future generations. And we can actually like normalize therapy for taking care of yourself, right? I remember like when I told my mom, so when I was like in therapy for the first time, I really did feel she was like worried about me. And I was like, no, I'm just like going to therapy just to, like just to be okay. And it was like, it's the pandemic, and also like I never wanted to be a therapist that had never experienced therapy. So I was like, that doesn't really work out. But they're like worried. It's not normal for someone to just go to therapy just to talk, right? Or just to not, like when you're not in crisis, right? Just to form a relationship with someone, so that when you are in crisis, like you don't have to go like searching for someone. And so it's really important for those of us that are experiencing therapy, engaging in therapy, to kind of normalize it, right? Like mention it at that Thanksgiving dinner, or at that Christmas holiday. Because I think we're doing a lot of this work and feeling like, I'll just keep this to myself. It's not that important. But the more we talk about it, it just becomes normalized. And then we normalize it for the folks to come after us. So whether you have younger siblings, whether it's your children in the future, you kind of like normalize what that looks like. And we may be able to reach some of our elders, but we won't be able to reach all of them. But we're on a journey, and it's the same with African Americans too, right? Like they have a really similar path where therapy is not normalized. And one of my biggest pillars in my practice is just increasing access, normalizing therapy. And so one of the events that I typically host is like therapy tasting. And so having folks get like a taste of therapy, showing them like what it looks like. I think just even knowing that like someone that you know or like a friend could be like a therapist, and like what that vibe feels like, what it's going to look like. I'm not going to be like on a couch, right? You know, the typical myth, like writing something like I'm just going to ask you how your day was, and you know, we'll talk about what you want to talk about. We're putting you first. I think exposing that to folks that might be weary about therapy can also help. And so whatever way we could do that, talk about it, talk about your therapy experiences. Obviously you don't have to share like I was talking about this trauma this day, that trauma that day, but you know, like, oh my gosh, I like had a really good session today and I started thinking, like whatever feels good to share, right? Like with your friends and family. My therapist got me thinking about this, and let it be like a conversation starter for folks. I find that that's really helped with my family, my friends. I feel like I've gotten a lot of my friends to go to therapy based on like my experience. I had a friend that was like anti-therapy, and then I was just talking about everything I was learning. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about this. I mean, we're all social workers, so it's like ridiculous that like for me that she felt therapy wasn't important. But and afterwards she was like, oh, it would be cool for me to be able to talk about that stuff with somebody. And so you never know when you might mention it, and it could help somebody. So yeah. Any other questions? I'm sorry, now I'm like, excuse me. Any other questions before I kind of close out?
You had a question from Denise on the chat.
Oh, okay. Let me look at the chat. I see a comment. Let me see. All right, here. One thing out there was recommended to write down, whatever. Oh, yes, this is a good one. I always recommend this. And it's so funny because I was telling my friend this exact thing the other day. It wasn't like a client, but yes, writing down what you want to say before you have this like peaceful conference. I like that you called it a peaceful confrontation. But yes, writing it down, because you know, when you're in the heat of the moment, I feel that one, you can easily forget why you're there, or like what the point is, and then you get sidetracked by what other folks are saying, and then you don't get your point across, right? So it's really important to write down your like bullet points. I typically do that when I'm having a discussion with someone. I just write down like colors, make the bed, pick up your socks, defrost meat. Like, I would like if you defrosted the meat, you know? But if you write it down, it helps you like keep in track with like what your conversation is. And so no one could really derail you, which I think people use. And some people do it on purpose and some people do it unconsciously, right? Like we'll kind of take the conversation in a different route so that they can avoid confrontation, avoid where it's going. And so if you have your points written down, you can always feel free to say, and before we go, I just want to mention that, or, you know, I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting this part of the discussion. But it's like very helpful, helps you like level yourself, not get carried away, because some peaceful confrontation can turn quickly into like not so peaceful confrontation. But if you know what your points are, what you want to say, it keeps you on track. So yes, I would definitely recommend that process. Also, it helps you think through, I feel that helps you think through what you want to say, right? Because when you're angry, or you might not be like sad, right? You may have a lot of things on your mind. But sometimes you don't actually know what is your issue. Like, what is actually bothering you here? What do you want this person to change? And sometimes writing that down can really help you narrow down your thoughts, right? So like and I'm just using things, I'm very like a metaphoric kind of person. So like I was joking about like defrosting the meat, right? But it's like not about the meat. It's just about like, if you like took the time to actually like think about, I had a busy day, like think about me, while you were home and I had a busy day at work, then you would know that it'll be easier if you defrosted the meat, because then I can just come home and get right to cooking, right? So my actual issue is not just about the meat, it's just about you thinking about me when I'm not around, right? And when you start to write things down, you can like pinpoint what's going on, what's coming up for you, and things like that. There's a bunch of questions here, so and I think people are like, okay, every therapist needs a therapist. Just wanna, I don't know how people, okay. I don't want to call anyone out, but it says that I have a private message. Okay, I think we're good. I think I've answered the ones that need to, oh, here we go. Okay, so this question, this will be my last question. To what extent does a particular boundary make an individual selfish? Also, can a boundary you're setting be based on a previous experience? Yes, a boundary you're setting can be based on a previous experience. Because the reality is, as you live, you learn and you grow. And so you might not have experienced something before. So you might not know that that is something that affects you in a certain way or offends you. So it is okay to have new boundaries as you continue to grow, based on experiences that you have. Yeah, that's what I would say about that. And then, to what extent does a particular boundary make an individual selfish? I struggle with this question a little bit, because I just don't believe that. I believe that, and to some extent, you have to be selfish to protect your own mental health and your own peace, right? Like, and I think that if you're feeling like this is something that is affecting you and impacting you in any way in your daily life, or just in your day to day, then it is a boundary that you should set. And if somebody thinks you're selfish because of it, then you have to kind of really think about that relationship. Or, like, and maybe you can kind of talk through that with that person, or maybe you can't, right? Like, some people cannot handle our boundaries, and we have to really think about whether or not that person deserves to be in our space. Because if you're setting a boundary, it's typically because this is like really important to you, or it's impacting you in a negative way. And I don't want I don't want folks to feel like choosing self makes you like selfish, but it does. Like, you should be selfish and protect your peace and protect your mental health. So that one is like really tricky, but it sounds like, choose yourself first, and try as much as you can to save relationships while choosing yourself. I didn't catch the name of the person who asked the question about your mom, the person who like spoke on the Zoom. Did anyone catch that? Or could you just share your name, please?
I know who it is. I'll message them privately.
Okay, well, that person is going to win a gift card for sharing their experience with us. And I just want to say thanks for sharing. We really appreciate it. And, we're all kind of, I think you shared that, but we're all kind of like feeling and thinking it. And so I really like appreciate you for sharing that. So yeah, you will get a gift card. Definitely wanted to end off with just saying self-care isn't always easy, but it's important, right? Managing your feelings, managing your boundaries is something that we have to do to make sure that we're feeling okay. Wanted to share, again, my private practice is Where Black Love Matters. We do host community events as well. Therapy tasting is like one of our big ones, and that's just an event to introduce therapy to folks that will typically not go to therapy. And we use wine as a way to introduce therapy to folks. And then also I am accepting clients in the New York, New Jersey area for individual couples, and family therapy. Follow me on Instagram, where Black Love Matters.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Someone's asking if you offer online services.
Yes, I do offer online services if you live in New Jersey or New York.
Amazing. Wow, you guys, just round of applause on the chat or the hand motion reaction part, because this was a loaded session. So just kind of want to check the temperature, how y'all feeling, how's your mental health? You gotta drink some water after this session, take a sip of water or orange juice or I don't know, whatever you can drink to just relax. This was so good. I think, man, boundaries, relationships, it's something that we're constantly just learning and growing in. And I think one of the biggest, takeaway for me is just, difficult conversations need to be had, right? And if they're had in like in a boundary setting, or a space where you can both hear each other or thrive, or just grow, hear the other person, and so that you can heal or move on from it, or really address difficult situations, then you are welcoming growth to your relationship. So this was so good. And just a quick practical thing, reminder, there's going to be raffles. So y'all, please do not leave, do not exit. Please check the chat as well. I'm just going to read it just in case someone is not able to see the chat. Maybe there's somewhere that they can't check the chat. To enter the raffle to get a chance to win $50 of Ulta gift card. Tickets are $10 and can be entered unlimited amount of times. Payments can be made to the Cash App. So, and the Cash App is the $ World Class Women. So if you weren't able to read the chat, that is the quick announcement. And just a reminder again, there's going to be a survey. Please, guys, if your background is loud, just mute. Thank you. And so, yeah, at the end, there's going to be a survey because we are sponsored by Target. And then when you say at the end and you do a survey, you are going to get a gift bag. So please stay on, enjoy. These are nuggets. I hope you guys are taking notes because there's just so much. And again, I wanted to check the temperature. How are you guys feeling? How you guys are feeling on the chat? Ooh. How is everyone feeling? We're like halfway in the program. How are you guys feeling? How's your mental health? What's a big takeaway so far that you feel that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good? Tell me on the chat. I want to see all those responses. Yeah, I see good vibes. Good. How about everyone else? Yes, feeling amazing. Definitely. I hope you guys are ready for the next session because we're only diving in deeper, that's the only way here. What's something that you took away about boundaries? Like, can I see something about a takeaway about boundaries? Is there someone, I guess, that you have in mind that you're like, you know what? This is the person that came to mind the whole time Fanny was speaking that I need to set boundaries. Because I know there was a name that came into your head. You're like, ooh, that gotta be Auntie Jane. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. Oh, Lucy said, okay, I know. Yes, relationship is definitely a two-way street. Yes, what are some nuggets that you picked up? Even if it's from the first session from Denise, something that you're like, I looked in my closet and I saw a pink and I'm definitely wearing that tomorrow.
You know what? I picked up, because I did the Marie Kondo method 2 years ago now, and Denise definitely reminded me, and it's funny because just yesterday I was looking for something to wear last night and I came across a couple things, and when she said that, I was like, there are some things that need to go at this point because I have not worn it, and it's just I remember how good I felt when I did it the first time, and I was like, okay, it's time to you just literally when we get off here, that's most likely what I'm going to do because I've been wanting to reorganize my closet for a while now. So thank you so much.
Spring cleaning is coming up.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting because I think, and Fanny, you can clear me on this, but part of the situation to why us first generations keep so many things is because our Africans did it. Like if you go to an African home, chances are we all got like this basement full of things that we never even use. Like there's just always so many things because, you know, they're always trying to take things back home, which is amazing, of course. But it's always like, it like slowly trickles down to us. Like, I know I still have some stuff from like high school that I don't wear, but it's still in my closet, you know? So definitely clean out some people, clean out some mindsets, clean out some habits, and like, for real, like make a list or something, make like write it down. Like, I think one of the things about great programs like this is I always encourage people, like, don't let it be just like, you know, like you came here, you listen and it felt good. Like actually make a plan post this, whether that's to hit up Fanny for some therapy sessions or, you know, cleaning out your closet, like Denise was saying. Do those things, right? Because the next program that they host, you'll be like, you know what, I grew and I'm ready to grow again, because we're constantly just thriving and thrive, and we should hope to thrive constantly. Yes, take notes. Yes, the scarcity mindset. Yes, Josiah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, guys, so I hope you took your, you know, little, you know, drink water to, you know, reset, recharge, because we kind of dived into, you know, boundaries, and boundaries always feel some type of way. Now, again, there's a survey at the end, right? So we can get this bag, right? So I know you don't want to miss that, but I'm excited. I know Essie is ready. You know, she got the Midwest vibes, but she has the heat, y'all. Like this woman, just, you have to pray to God that she has to do your makeup one of these days, because I was reading her bio, yeah, and she's like been in the MAC cosmetic industry for like 9 years, and she has worked with some big names, like from Cora Jakes. If y'all don't know who that is, I'm gonna just help you. It's the daughter of TD Jakes, so she has the anointing on her hands, okay? And to Megan James, the LA Basketball Wives, Lynx Inc. CEO, Kimberly Jeffries Leonard, guys, big names, you know, and as a beauty artist, she sets herself apart based on matching the right products with the right purpose. Y'all ever heard that? Or, you know, let me just read that again. Matching the right products with the right purpose. Come on, let's get some snaps. Wow, that is just too good. She is intentional on creating custom looks to enhance each individual's natural beauty. So without further ado, just want to introduce my sister Essie. Ready, beautiful. Take it over, sis.
Hi, everyone. Wow. I get so shy when people talk about me. It's like, it's so weird. It's like, oh my gosh, but thank you. That was just a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, Wendy. Ladies and gentlemen that are also in the room, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am so excited to be here and so excited to share with you just a little bit about myself, my journey, and just talking about beauty. I know that my focus on beauty, and when everyone sees me, it's more about the outside beauty, but beauty definitely does start on the inside first, and having that level of confidence and just knowing that you are beautiful regardless. You know, there's so many images out there that, you know, and social media doesn't help, that make people think, oh, this is beautiful or that's beautiful. And I just hope that, you know, in talking to you tonight and just sharing a little quick tutorial with you, that you understand that you can enhance your beauty. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't always have to be 10 pounds of makeup. It can be the smallest of makeup, and you can still be confident in it. So I'm gonna start, because I don't want it to take too long, but this is my infamous 10-minute routine. I don't know if anybody wants to set a timer for me. I'm gonna try my best. And if someone can help me, if there's questions in the chat, because it's gonna be very difficult for me to
I got you.
read those. Okay, thank you so much. So I saw someone say the timer set. So yeah, I wanted to come on the camera, fresh face, no filter, like this is it, you know. Being confident like this is where it starts. So we're gonna add a little bit more and then we're gonna, you know, build on that. And I'm just gonna chat with you about my journey in the beauty industry. As Wendy stated, this is year 10 for me. And I'm just like, I'm even just starting my year off with the World Class Women's Organization is just confirmation to me that like I've hit, you know, certain milestones and I'm there. And I was talking with the ladies earlier and just letting them know, like, you know, people see me now and they're like, oh my gosh, but it definitely took me a while to get here. I'm going to try to share products too as I go along. So that, and if there's anybody that needs me to show any products at the end, I'll be more than happy. I don't have very many products, so you don't need very much. And you don't have to put on very much. So here's what we're gonna start with. We're gonna start with a primer. But I started in the beauty industry, I wanna say in 2010 is when I decided that I was gonna start in beauty and really take it serious. But I actually wanted to do hair. And it's makeup found me. I always tell people this is people always ask me like, oh, how did you get into makeup? Like, were you always thinking about being a makeup artist? I had no clue what makeup artists did. I had no desire for the industry. I had desire in doing my makeup, but doing other people's makeup first was not something that I considered to be a thing, right? So around 2010 is when I decided, okay, I'm gonna leave my corporate job. And as some of you know, coming out of an African household, it was a big thing. Like I got uncles calling me, aunties calling me, like, what's going on? Why are you leaving your job? Like I literally left my job because they were sending the jobs over to India. And I just decided that I did not want to be in a position where somebody could take my job from me. And I just, at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pursue this. It's something I'm really passionate about. And so I'm just going to do what I want to do. Right. And I was a teen mom. I think at the time I maybe had 2 kids. My kids right now are 17, 13, and 12. A lot of people don't know that. But I was a young mom at the time. And so everyone thought I was crazy. Like, you're a mom, you have a good job. Why are you doing this? And I just fought against all the outside noise of people telling me not to do it. Like, I was just determined to just do what I wanted to do, right? So left my job, started working a retail job because I had to, you know, still provide, but I was, you know, pursuing this beauty school. And so when I was in retail, everyone knows that when you work in a public environment, you want to look right, right? So I would just do my makeup. I would come to work and, you know, people would come up to me and they would be like, do you do makeup? I was working in fragrance. They're like, do you do makeup? And I'm like, no, I don't do makeup. I just, you know, I can sell you this fragrance. And he was like, oh, you should really do makeup. And there was a customer that came in, I'll never forget her name was Ashley Williams. And she came in and she was like, you know, you should really consider being a makeup artist. And I was like, I heard it so much at that point. And I was like, you know what, let me see what this makeup artist industry is about. Like I don't know why in my mind, I'm like, when people do makeup, for celebrities or TV show, like I just had no clue, you know? So she was kind of the one that kind of sparked me to like really do my research. And so as I was doing my research, I was like, okay, like this is actually a thing, right? And so I decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into it, I'm gonna see. So I started with literally nothing. And I know someone said earlier, just start. Like if you are pursuing something and you feel like you have to have it all together before you start, don't wait. Like literally just start. I hope that point hits someone, whoever, I don't know, is anybody like currently in a position where they're trying to start something and they're just feeling like, I don't have it all together yet. I want to wait. I want to do this. Like anybody out there? I don't want to feel like I'm just like talking. Unless you guys just want to listen to me talk, I don't mind.
They're talking in the chat.
Oh, they are? Okay, all right, cool. I just want to make sure. So I just bought like a couple concealers. I had some eyeshadow palettes, and then I just started like just researching, like literally researching the makeup industry. I bought books. I like pulled up articles about like makeup artists that worked in certain settings that I wanted to work in. And I just started consuming, like what's the saying? Eat, sleep, breathe. Like everything was makeup for me. Like every single thing. There was nothing I was doing that did not involve makeup. And so then I was like, you know what? Well, if I'm gonna do makeup, I want to work for MAC. Like I want to work, for the top. At the time, MAC right now is not doing very well. But at the time, MAC was the brand to work with. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to work for MAC. So what I do, I went home, did my makeup, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get my application. I presented myself just to pick up my application. So I went to go pick up my application. I filled it out at like the little Starbucks that was like at the end of the store. And I filled out my application. I turned it in. The manager at the time took my application and literally she looked at it, she put it down, she walked away. She didn't say anything to me. She didn't do anything. Like when I say it was the most like, can you imagine being so excited about something and then like you get into the moment, it's just like, it's nothing. It went by that fast. And I was just like, okay. And I walked away and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And so I didn't get a call. I didn't hear from her. And, then I was like, okay. So I started going on YouTube, like, okay, when you apply for MAC, like, what should you do? So I think I came across a video and the girl was like, oh, ask them to shadow. Ask them if you could shadow them. And I was like, okay. So I went up there and there was a lady, she was the assistant manager. And I was like, hey, can I like shadow you during your shift? She was like, oh, I don't really have time for that. Like, I mean, you can just hang out. And so I was just like, okay. So I kind of hung out, tried to like get the vibe, the energy. And I asked her, I said, hey, I turned in my application and the manager really didn't say anything. Like, do you know if there's any openings? And she's like, oh yeah, there's openings. So I was like, okay, so what's the problem? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna fill out another application, right? This is how like back then I was just so tunnel vision on what I wanted to do. Like I literally, when I think about it now, I'm like, who does this? But I was like, all right, fine, we'll start over. I went up there, got my application, I filled it out again. I gave it to her. She was there again. And she looked at it and she's like, I really want to hire you, but you're not available. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you have here that you can't work weekends. And I was like, oh, is that why the first application got denied? She was like, yeah, like, she's like, I was just too busy. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, pause. Let me go to the beauty school. And I don't know if anybody's been in cosmetology school, but you have to be there on the weekends to service the public so that you can get your floor hours. So I went to the beauty school and I said, hey, I either need more money or I need my schedule adjusted so I can work. And they were like, well, what time do you need to work? And I was like, well, I need to work Saturdays and Sundays. They're like, and of course I didn't go to school on Sunday. They were like, Saturday. They're like, okay, well, we can have you here in the morning, half day. And then you would just, be able to go to work in the evening at your job, but it's just going to make your hours longer. Like you'll be in school longer. And I was like, it's fine. I'll figure it out. So I went back, I filled out the application. She's like, you know what? We're actually having a career, like, what do you call it? Like what is it? Like, it was like, what was it?
Career fair?
yeah, like a career fair where it was like an open, like everybody could come and they would interview you right there on the spot. She was like, we're having that next month. And I was just like, this is May of 2012. And I was just like, oh my God, I need a job. Like, I need money. And so I was like, fine. So I waited the whole month. I got dressed. I went to the career fair and I did the interview on the spot. I'm going to do a little powder. I'm going to do a process called, let me give some makeup tips real quick. I'm going to do a process called preset because a lot of people always ask, like, how do I get the translucent powder to not sit under the eye or to like not look so white? And this is really like a very important step in the makeup process that a lot of people, I don't know if they know or not, but it's called preset. What you want to do is take a, not skin tone powder, but your color powder, whatever your all over powder is, or maybe something a little lighter, and you want to place that under your eye first before you put your translucent powder. So that is how you get, and I'll show you how. I'm going to put the translucent powder under my eye. And you just want to use a process that I like to, you just want to press. Whenever you're doing makeup and you're using products, that you're using powder on top of your wet products, you always want to press. You never really want to rub anything. So that is one of my biggest tips that I always give people when they're like asking me about like, well, how do I get my makeup to, to last? Or how do I get my under eye to not look so creasy? And it's best if you preset first and then put your translucent powder. And I'm going to use Huda Beauty's, what is this, Pound Cake. So yeah, I went to that interview, and MAC at the time had 4 interviews for a 4-step process to their hiring. And so that was the first part of it. I had passed, and then I ended up getting a call for my second interview. And that was like a makeup interview where I had to do makeup on someone, right? And this lady, I had no model. I found a lady in the mall walking, and I was like, hey, can I do your makeup for my interview? And she was like, sure. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I'm telling you, I feel like I literally just was, I don't know, my process was not, it was crazy. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew this is what I wanted to do. Like if I was going to do makeup, and my parents have always told me, like, if you're going to do something, be the best at it. Like if you're going to be the janitor, you better be the best janitor in the world. If you're going to be working at McDonald's, you better own the McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like you better make sure that you're the best at whatever it is you want to do. So I'm sure a lot of ladies have been in this process, and when they wipe it away, it's white. I'm going to show you exactly what it's going to look like. I'm just going to do my brows really, really quickly with a brow gel.
Someone's asking, what is the brush you use for setting powder?
Oh, this is my favorite. Listen, this brush right here, you absolutely need in your kit. I don't care what you do in your makeup process. It's what I like to call almost like a kitten paw shape. It's the Sephora Collection 99 brush. And I love it because it just fits so perfectly under the eye. Like it's the best brush. I don't use any other brush under my eye. Like this is it right here. This brush, everyone needs it. And so, yeah, I don't even remember where I was in my story, but are you guys enjoying the story so far?
Yeah.
Chat makeup, okay. So went on my interview. I found a lady in the mall. Now I did purple eyeshadow. I had on purple shoes. I had on this jewelry with some purple gems. And so at the end of my interview, the guy that interviewed me, his name is Drew. He was like, I love your makeup application. I love what you did. Everything was so cute. He was like, 2 things. I said, yeah. And he was like, number 1, you're chewing gum and your purple shoes. And I just felt so embarrassed. I was like, dang, with MAC, you have to wear all black. Like they don't allow any color in your wardrobe. And he was like, the fact that we're interviewing on the floor, like you need to look like you work at Mac. And so I was like, oh, okay, like whatever. But long story short, I ended up getting a call from the same manager that turned my application down. And she was like, hey, I just wanted to call you in for orientation. She's like, I've already looked at your numbers because I worked in Macy's in fragrance. And at the time, the MAC was in Macy's. She was like, I've already looked at your attendance. I've looked at your numbers. Like, just come in for orientation for your, employee, like, sign up just to get the handbook, fill out all my paperwork. And I was like, oh my God, like I actually got the job. I couldn't believe it. I was just so stunned. And so that's how I started my MAC career and was there up until 2018. And in 2018, I've been through 2 MAC counters. At the last counter I got to, there was a manager, department manager that really didn't like how much the customers liked me. And she did everything possible to make my days really hard. She didn't like she was like, this is not a salon. People are calling up here. And if you're not here, they're not coming in to shop. And so she was just really upset with the fact that I just had such a following in my clientele within the city that I live in. And so one day she came in and she was like, well, Mac doesn't have any more hours to support your position. So in 2 weeks, you're going to have to decide if you want to go to another brand or if you want to go. And I was like, what? And I picked another brand and she was like, yeah, but you don't have the availability and your schedule is like, you're always requesting like a different schedule. Like she just, when I say it felt like the rug had got pulled from up under me, but in hindsight, I really feel like it was God. God was like, it is time for you to go. Like it is time for you to be on your own. I have been asked time and time, when are you gonna start working by yourself? When are you gonna get a studio? When are you gonna do that? And I was so comfortable. Sometimes you're very comfortable. And then when God is ready for you to switch lanes, he will do everything in his power to push you out of the way. Like, it's like, how they say, like, tell God your plans. Like, I had my own plan, but he was like, no. It's time for you to go. And literally in 2 weeks, I had no job with Mac. It felt like I had a bad breakup with a boyfriend. Like that is the exact way it felt. It felt like my boyfriend had just called me and told me, I don't want to be with you no more. The relationship is over. Forgive me, guys. I can't do my brows and talk at the same time. So intermission here.
All good. And then there was the question about the brush. They also want to know the brush that you use for the little one for the powder.
What, this one?
Yes. So the brush to apply that.
The what I use to apply it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this actually comes with like a little powder puff. I think this is like their travel mini thing. I'm into minis, like anything. Like, I don't know if you guys notice, I have a thing for miniature products because when I travel, it's just so easy to pack my makeup. And I like a very compact, tight kit. Like, I don't like a whole lot of everything. And I can pick all my products up in one hand. When I'm done, I'm going to show you. Like, I literally like things to be nice, neat, and compact. And so I think this is just like their travel. And so I just end up buying like maybe 2 or however many I think I need. And I just work out of this. I don't like the big ones because they get so messy. I feel like I lose a lot of powder in the process of just doing my own makeup. I use the bigger ones in my full kit, like my makeup artistry kit, but my personal kit, I like just things to be compact, like very neat, very small, not too big, just, because then, those little pouches that you get with like your perfumes and things like that, I can easily put all my makeup in that bag and be done. I don't have to have a whole case caboodle to travel. Like, and you guys know with traveling, like when you travel smaller with your makeup, it's just so much easier. Like, it's less messier too. So that's my tidbit for if especially if you're someone who travels, or even if you're someone who, like, I used to do my makeup at work at my desk, and who wants to pull out like big bulky products when you're trying to like put on a quick beat, right? So yeah, it comes in the actual powder.
So as you do your eyebrows, I have other questions. So you could do your eyebrows, and I have questions for the audience. So hey, ladies and gents again. So between soft or natural glam, what do you guys usually go for and why? And does it depend on the day, the event? So I just want to see team soft glam or team, natural beat on the chat. Even the guys, let's hear it. You like a girl with the natural beat.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Natural, we have okay. Love to see it. Soft glam. Lots of soft glams. Josiah said natural-ish. Nude lips. Okay, nude lips and some gloss. Yep. I feel like when I get my brows done, I could probably go outside and be okay.
Yeah.
It's the eyebrows for me. Yes. Also, guys, another question is, do you guys care about like the kind of the brand that you use in terms of makeup? Like, is it Black owned, or we know Fenty's out here doing their thing? Do you guys have any other Black owned makeup that you use that you want to post in the chat? I'll be curious to see that as well. I know there's usually like Black owned makeup, either maybe like an influencer collaborated with the brand, which is always cool to support. But if there's any other MKB, what's MKB, Miss Stephanie? Or if I don't know, oops. MKB crayon case. I'm gonna have to look these up. Miss Kiss Beauty. Oh, Miss Kissy. Okay, awesome. I think I've heard of that. Cool. Does anyone use Fenty? I feel like I'm the person who has not used Fenty besides like their lip gloss. That's a good question. What drugstore makeup products do you think get the job done? I think that's for you.
L'Oreal, surprisingly. Maybelline. There's so many drugstore brands right now. Elf is a great brand. NYX has great lip products. I mean, you could definitely get away with a full face, just drugstore only. Like, I don't believe there really is a difference anymore between drugstore and high end. Like, honestly, I don't even prefer, like, I remember when I tried to like go get matched for like Armani's foundation, trash. Like, I don't feel like the price of the product matters anymore. Like, I am like L'Oreal, this is my holy grail for concealer. You cannot get me to use any other concealer. The only reason why I use a more expensive concealer in my kit is more or less because, I mean, I've labeled myself as a luxury, makeup artist. So I just don't feel right. You know what I mean? I feel like it has to match. And I just feel like Tarte is the brand that I use in my kit, and it just never fails on all skin types, all age ranges of skin, because I work with a lot of older women. So there are just certain concealers that just don't cover, or sometimes it's too creasy, or, Tarte is like, it just hands down, white, Black, old, young, dark under eyes, like, it does not matter. It has never failed me. So those are the only two, L'Oreal and Tarte. Those are my only two that I would use.
Love it.
So this is how you get rid of, did you guys see I don't know if anyone caught, but The powder is gone. You don't have to do a lot. If you preset first and you just press the powder into the skin, it will literally disappear. And if you still feel like you have a powdery look to yourself, once you spray your face, it should go away completely. Were there any other questions?
Someone said that they need a one-on-one class.
The classes are coming. Like when I say this class topic has come up so much in the last few months, I just felt like I had such a crazy wedding year last year with my COVID brides and then my 2021 brides that like they were all combined into one. And I was like literally doing makeup. Like it was just so much. And I'm a person, energy is really, really big for me. And if I'm drained, I can't perform. So I wasn't even creating content really. I was just doing on the weekends. I think I had like 4 brides a weekend. It was, and anybody that has ever been in a wedding as a bridesmaid, as anything, you know that those moments in those areas, they're so just like, it's just a lot. Like at one time, it's just a lot. So I'm gonna use a little bit of bronzer here as blush and bronzer. I like to combine the two. So if you have a bronzer that has like a warm undertone to it, you can use it, double it as a blush as well.
There's a question. Were you still able to work with your clients at MAC after they let you go?
Yes, because my clients refused to go anywhere else. They found me. They were like, and some of them were like, I came in and I was looking for you and no one would tell me anything. And so they found me like on Instagram or Facebook. And they were like, yeah, I was looking for you. Like I had an event coming up and I was like, oh my God, they got nervous. They were like, no one. This lady, I hate to say she was a witch. Like she did everything that she could to try to stop my career or like she was just so mean. And I was just like, what did I do to you? And I find that when you really know who you are, and when you just stand strong in your purpose, it makes people very uncomfortable who do not know who they are. Like when people don't know who they are, when people are struggling with their identity, but you're very sure of who you, like I was very sure of what I want to do. And I've always been that way. And so that type of confidence around people who are unsure of themselves is very uncomfortable for them, because I'm very loud about who I am, what I want to do, where I'm going in life. I'm not quiet at all. Like I'm not someone who walks into the room and just my shoulders are down. Like I walk very, very straight up. I'm here, hello. And it's nothing arrogant or cocky. It's just, there's just a certain level of confidence that you have to have, and you have to hold on to that, because there are going to be people in this world that will try to literally knock you off your path or knock you off of what you believe in yourself. And you just have to hold on to your vision. Like there was a lot of people in the beginning of my journey that just did not understand why I was doing the things that I was doing. And now today they're like, oh my God, like, I'm so proud of you. Like you're doing your thing, you're doing this. But in the beginning, no one was cheering for me. No one was, no one was seeing it. Like everyone was just so like, they were just so like, what, like even in dating, like I would tell people that I'm a makeup artist and they're like, okay, well, what else do you do? And I'm like, this is what I do. And they would just be like, and now these same guys are like, wow, I'm so proud of you. Like, congratulations, so you just have to know who you are on the inside. Like you have to know who you are and hold on to your vision of your life, because at the end of the day, God doesn't give the vision to everybody else. Your vision, he only gave it to you, and you're really the only person that can see it. So you have to truly just hold on to that and just keep pushing through. This is year 10 for me. It has not been easy. It has not been easy. There are definitely, I am always the one to tell people, entrepreneurship and being on your own is not easy. It looks good, but there is a lot of long nights. There's a lot of long days. There's a lot of tears. There's good days too, but there are times where you have to fight against everything else crumbling around you, especially in a creative space, like, personal life, or car issues or work or just family. There's so many elements, and being able to stay laser focused in your field is not it. I saw someone just say it's not for the weak. It is not for the weak. I always encourage people, like, yeah, I want you to be an entrepreneur. I want you to get the bag. I want you to be able to make up your own schedule, but it also comes with a lot too. So always consider those things. If you're thinking about entrepreneurship, always consider those things. I know that but yeah, I was able to work with my clients, and I'm still able to. Now I get to pick my clients, because in retail, I couldn't really pick who I wanted to work with. I had to work with everyone. And there were some clients, like, they cannot get into my chair. I'm like, you made my life a living hell in retail. There's no way in heck I'm going to let you into my space. Like, forget it. So, I'm just lining my lips here. Are there any other questions while I do this?
There's actually 3 other questions. So there's one that's like, what are some advice you would give to beginners when it comes to makeup?
Are we talking about a makeup artist or someone just beginning in makeup?
I guess maybe both. Brittany, if you want to clarify.
I think she means like a beginner, like in general, not as a makeup. Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? When you are beginning in makeup, if this is for personal makeup, allow yourself time to get better. By no means, I wish I had a picture, by no means was where I am today. Give yourself time. And doing makeup is like working out a muscle. So, if you go to the gym and you do squats all the time and you work your glutes, it grows, right? It's the same thing with makeup. Allow yourself time to learn and evolve in your personal makeup. And don't take on everything all at once. Start off with something that you want to focus on. Like, let's just say if your base is something that you want to focus on, work on that first, but don't try to like do face and then do all this intricate eyeshadow and lash it. Like, start slow and be patient with yourself. And when I say I promise, if you allow yourself the time to grow, over time you will get better. And investing in a class is definitely something you should do, but beginning makeup, it doesn't have to be foundation. It can be a powder. It can just be, like I did today, just a brow gel. Like, I try, like, keep things very simple for yourself. Stay off of social media, Instagram, especially, because there's a lot of things out there that are for trends or for views and likes, and they have no purpose. Like, I absolutely hate Instagram right now with makeup, because there's people doing things to their faces, and it's just like, it's so unrealistic. It's literally for views. So stay away from social media for sure. Try to find somebody whose personal makeup that you like, and try to, if they give tips or if they show videos on how they do their makeup, and stick with that. That would be my advice.
Nice. The other question was, what's the difference between using a translucent powder instead of a loose powder? I think it's too lighter than the skin tone.
Okay, so a loose powder that's lighter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love this question, because translucent powder, the way it's milled, it is made to set and bake and do all of those things. When you're using just a loose powder is nothing but this in a loose setting. So it is not meant for you to pack on. It's literally meant for you to take into, I think I have some, and I'll just demo real quick how to use it. I didn't pull it out because I didn't think I was going to use it, but I do want to kind of educate a little bit, because this is why a lot of people have a hard time getting rid of the powder under their eye, because they're using a loose a loose all over powder as opposed to a translucent powder. Hold on one second. Okay, perfect. So this is an all over powder, right? This is by Mented, it's their medium deep. This is a translucent powder. The way these are actually, gosh, the day they start allowing us to like feel through the camera, that's when I'll know, right? So the way this is actually milled, it's not meant to bake. And that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of people have a hard time getting rid of their powder under their eye, is because this goes all over the face. And the way that you even use something like this, do you see the powder in the cap here? You want to take a brush, something really fluffy. This might be too dense. Okay. Something really, really fluffy. You want to just circle it and even out how much you have all over the brush, tap off the excess, and you just want to use it all over the face. You never want to use something like this directly under the eye. Now you can use this if you wanted to do the preset that I did. You can press with it, but it's not meant to bake. And the reason being, the difference is they're just milled differently. This is not meant to, the way they formulate it, I'm trying to find the words. I know what I'm saying, but I know what I'm thinking, but I'm trying to find the words. It's just not meant to disappear the way translucent powder does. Like you could probably even still see the residue here. Where translucent powder, it's so finely milled that when you go to rub it, look at that. It's gone. So that's really the difference between the two. I hope that answered the question. So be careful when you're baking that you're not actually using an all over powder under your eye.
That's good. I didn't even know that. That's a really great answer. There is a question for how did you get the opportunity to work with big names in the industry?
Referral. I don't advertise my business. A lot of people always chew me out because I don't carry business cards. It's word of mouth. I think that when you are working, it's one thing to be a good artist, but I do believe that my energy with people, how I treat them, my professionalism with them is what has gotten me far in my industry. I'm very consistent when it comes to my interactions with people as well. Like I stay away from gossip. I don't repeat anything in my makeup session with my clients stays in my makeup session. Like I'm sure Fanny can, tap in, like none of my clients have ever been able to leave or go somewhere and say that someone told them that Essie shared something that they, shared with me. So I stay away from gossiping about my clients. Like I said, the energy and the artistry is what I think directed me, because then when people would come in town, they're like, well, do you have an artist? They're like, oh no, we got Essie. I show up on time. At least I try to. There are definitely moments where I've had, traffic or anything like that, but I try to stay as professional as possible. And I think it will definitely, your name will get you further. And so if you stay consistent in your craft and you stay consistent in being professional, you will get to work with big names. I don't go around DMing these celebrities. It's just word of mouth. So.
I love that. What is your advice for people with oily skin when doing makeup?
Oily skin starts with skincare. It has absolutely nothing to do with the makeup that you're using. It's your skincare. And 10 times out of 10, if you are oily, your skin is not properly hydrated before the makeup. So skincare, I didn't do the skincare portion. My skin was already cleansed and prepped, ready for makeup. But skincare is definitely the issue, not the issue. I don't want to use the word issue, but it's most likely the reason why you're so oily. So making sure that you're using a good toner, making sure that you're using a good serum, and then a proper moisturizer, and then your primer. Stay away from milk and magnesia, please.
I think that's every African household. I'm just kidding. As makeup trend, oh no, that was just a comment. Well, actually, as makeup trends change over time, do you change your process when it comes to clients? Yeah.
Trends? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still feel like there's so much for me to learn. I still feel like there's so much out there that I need to like figure out with makeup. Like, I keep myself so involved in learning what's going on. I mean, of course, I still hold on to my core things, but I definitely do change up. Like, brows have changed over the years, and I don't do brows the way that I used to do brows when I first started doing makeup. So yes, I absolutely do change things, you know, as trends change and time change, but still sticking to who I am as an artist.
Amazing. And this one was answered. Someone was asking where you are, and you're in Ohio, but you travel, right?
I do travel. I travel everywhere. Wherever you want to fly me, I'm coming. I actually have a lot of, like, the weddings that I've booked so far, a lot of them are out of town, which is a blessing. I feel so like, I'm just like, wow, you really want just me? Like, it always just makes me feel so just like, I mean, and it's this person's biggest day. And I feel like, wow, out of all the artists you could have picked, someone local, I'm always so appreciative of people like truly investing in me in that way.
Mm-hmm. I have a question, because you mentioned how you were doing weddings, like 4 brides in a weekend or something like that. Mm-hmm. Are there like health issues that you encounter with your arms or something like that, or your back? Like, do you ever feel tired?
So I had a transgender coworker at MAC years when I first started, and I was doing makeup, and she came up to me and she went like this. Let me see if I can back up here. I was doing makeup, and she put her fist in my back, and she was like, if you don't learn how to stand straight while you're doing makeup, you're gonna hurt your back. And so posture while I'm doing makeup, how the client sits, like, I have a chair that I travel with, so my clients are always positioned in a high enough seat that I don't have to lean forward. And I always make sure that they're sitting in a way that I'm not leaning too far into them. Like, my posture, the shoes I wear. I haven't encountered any real health issues. I mean, when I worked retail, it was the worst, because those floors in the store were so hard and there was no padding. And so that's probably it. But unless I'm just standing up for a long period of time, no.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Okay.
All right. Well, any finishing thoughts on your end? I mean, I love this look. How long I knew you were talking to us and doing the makeup, but how long does it usually take you
to do makeup on myself?
Do this look? Like, is it like a 20-minute, 30-minute?
This look would have took 10 minutes. Like, I can do this and be out the door. I think brows take the longest. So if I just can put my brow gel in real quick, then I'm good to go.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, if you have any finishing thoughts, and then we can, Josiah said 10 minutes, ? What are a few, okay, so there's another question. What are a few must-have products you would recommend, please?
Primer, Milk Hydro Grip is my hands down. I can't get away from it. That's one. My L'Oreal concealer is another product I cannot get away from. Juvia's Place eyeshadows, I absolutely love. Like, absolutely love. So I can't think of anything else. Chestnut lip pencil, I can't use any other pencil, any other brown. That's it though. I don't really know. I think you would have to give me the category and then I could like probably directly, because right now my mind is like, whew, so many products.
Wow. Well, this was great. Essie, I don't know if you have any last minutes thoughts, comments about everything.
I'm on Instagram. If you guys want to stay in tune of when I'll have any classes, I'm SC Defined on Instagram and SC Defined on all platforms. So TikToks, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. I'm SC Defined. So you can follow me there. And yeah, any info coming out about my classes will be there. And hopefully you guys, check in with me and if anyone tries this look, can you please DM me and let me know? I would really appreciate it.
Wow, you're amazing. And I think like I definitely took some notes down mentally, because I think makeup is one of those things where like for me, I'm always kind of rushing it, but I'm kind of get to a stage where I'm like, I want it to be like not too long, but I'm still looking popping,
Right.
Time. There's just time. Like yesterday I had a makeup session and that took a long time. And I was like, it looked good, but every day, just 10 minutes,
Just a quick, you don't need a lot.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot.
Exactly. Wow. Well, this was amazing, Essie. God bless you. This was really great. I love how everything from Denise to Fanny to you, everything's just so intertwined. And 1 second, really quickly. Again, we do have a gift card to give for your session. So I don't know if you had quite a few questions.
I know.
One person to be that lucky or guy. I don't know.
Who was the one that asked me about the powder?
Right. That was Steph E.
Yep. That's who I'll pick. Because that was a really, really, really good question.
Amazing. Steph E, make sure you email info@worldclass.org. Did I say it right? worldclasswomen.org. And yeah, there we go. Don't miss out your opportunity, ladies. If you were selected by Denise, Fanny, or Essie, please make sure you email, or your blessing will go to the second winner, whoever that will be. But guys, I'm going to hand it back to Lois because we're in that session for the raffle, and I'm excited to also see how that goes. So Lois, take over.
All right. So could we do one big round of applause if we could all just unmute ourselves real quick for our amazing hosts and our amazing speakers.
Job. Thank you, guys.
Every session, we talked a little bit about fashion. We talked a little bit about mental health as well as healthy relationships. And then Essie wrapped it up with a great makeup tutorial as well as showing her story. So God bless you ladies so much. I know myself, I know everybody here, picked up gems from each and every one of y'all. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram, DM them if you have any questions. They're all, nice, beautiful ladies that I'm pretty sure they will reply. So make sure you support, we got to support our Black women. And so then I will hand it over to our co-founder, Julia Pong, and she will be doing our fundraising.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay? Okay, so as she mentioned, my name is Julia Pong and I am one of the founders of World Class Women. As y'all know, this is a huge year for us because we are 5 years in the game. So first and foremost, just glory be to God for us to even have come this far in the middle of a whole pandemic. We were still going strong. And so just a little bit of background as we get into the fundraising. When World Class Women first started, Lois always wanted to do this program. And she was like so gung-ho about loving me and just the idea that our outside should match our inside. And there's so many girls who walk around and they're beautiful on the outside, but we don't know how broken and things that they're dealing with on the inside. And that's how this program was birthed. And everybody came together to really support this wonderful idea that Lois had in the making. And so 3 years later, we have continued to have guests come and talk about all of these things. And so once again, we just want to say a shout out to Essie, Denise, and Fanny for everything that y'all have able to do and all the gems that y'all collected as participants for free 99. And so with that said, as y'all know, World Class Women is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And so whenever you make a donation to World Class Women, what ends up happening is that once you are able to give that donation to us and we have your contact information, we can actually have you write it off in your taxes because we are nationally and recognized as well in our state. And so as far as the ways to give, we have a couple different ways that we would appreciate whatever God lays on your heart that you want to give to us. And so no amount is too small. So if you know that in this season, money is tight, Valentine's Day just passed, you sport your man a little bit and you all got too much to give, that's fine too. But we have our Cash App link, so the money will go directly to World Class Women $. And then with that being said, that was the same place that we also put our raffle. So if you already send the raffle money in, same place. The next option we have is PayPal. So if you know you got that PayPal, go ahead and send us money that way. And then the last thing you can also do is give online directly through our website. And while you're on our website, we also invite you to just kind of check out what World Class Women is doing. Because sometimes, maybe you're on this event today because Essie invited you, but you don't really know too much about World Class Women. Or maybe you saw a Sephora gift card and you were like, okay, or Ulta gift card, and you were like, I'm gonna come. And so if you don't really know too much about World Class Women, we just invite you to kind of partner with us and support our mission. Because I truly believe that this organization would not have been started if it wasn't a God-given idea. And so as everyone who is a part of this organization, we just want to say a big thank you for everything that you guys have done. And then if you want something physical, another thing that you can do is participate in our merchandise purchases. And so we have merchandise as well on our website. So if you go ahead to www.worldclasswomen.org, y'all can see the merchandise that we have there. And we have stuff for both men and women. So men, don't be like, oh no, we have stuff for y'all too. And even if you want to gift somebody something from World Class Women, we also appreciate that. And so other than fundraising, if you want to somehow partner with us directly, feel free to email us once again at info@worldclasswomen.org. If there is a way that you're not able to do Cash App, you're not able to do PayPal, you're not able to give online, but you really want to participate and put money into our organization, just go ahead and email us and we'll be quick to respond. And when y'all respond, we'll definitely make sure we're able to get that money, whether it's Zelle or whatever way we can work with you all. And so at the end of the day, the money that y'all give goes directly into this organization. That's the be it end all. It gets back into the different programs that we're able to have. And whether it's bringing the speakers on board, whether it's being able to give the goodie bags to you all, whatever it is that we do, we just want to say thank y'all from the bottom of our heart from whatever you're able to give to us. And we hope that this will not be your last event if this was your first event here with us. And if you are a regular, continue to follow us on our social media pages to just be up to date on the things that we're able to do. So we thank y'all so much and God bless.
All right. So thank you, Julia, for that. If anybody has any, further questions on how to donate or partner or give or whatever, again, feel free to email us at info@worldclasswomen.org. I know a lot of people also enter for the raffle. I just want to make a brief announcement. So I've seen some people on the website, you click to register for the raffle, but you didn't send any money for the raffle. So if you want to be included in the raffle, make sure you send your $10 to $ World Class Women, and we will be announcing the winner on our Instagram right after this event ends. And so before we wrap it up, I'm just going to send a brief link in the chat section. Make sure you fill out the survey. If you do not fill out the survey, you will not be getting your gift bag because it's how we'll get your address and just learning more about the demographics and the people who come to our events, so we're better able to serve you all. So I will be putting that in the chat.
I just posted it. You're good, Lo.
Okay. All right. And so wrapping it up, please fill out the survey. Please follow us on Instagram if you are not, at World Class Women org. We have a lot of events coming up this year. As we mentioned previously, it is our 5th year anniversary. So please stay tuned for all the good stuff that we have coming up. And since we are a Christian organization, we always end our events in prayers. So Julia, if you can just say a quick prayer, and then everybody has their evening, their Sunday evening back to them. So again, thank you to all our speakers. Thank you for the attendees. You know, we've been on this since 5 o'clock and y'all been rocking with us. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Wendy, our beautiful host, for hosting our event. So God bless you all.
Can y'all still hear me? My AirPods have been acting a little funny. You can hear? Okay. Let us go ahead and just close our eyes real quick, bow our heads for a short time of, not even a short time, just a short prayer. So Father God, we just want to say thank you for everything that you have done for us. We thank you for even giving us this day and even for the air in our lungs. And we thank you that there are so many different ways to praise you. It doesn't always have to be in the church room, but you gave us the opportunity to gather together as women and to appreciate the fact that you have made us fearfully and wonderfully. I ask that even as we leave here today, that these words will not fall on bad soil, but we will take the encouragement that we have learned about relationships, about our self-esteem, about makeup tips, and even be able to take it further and further. I pray that you will bless every single attendee on this line. And I just ask that you will continue to carry them throughout the week. I also want to lift up our guests before you, Lord, for the time that they have taken out to be able to pour into other women today. I pray that because they have even taken this time, that you will also remember them and that you will continue to grant them opportunities to even share and empower other women. I thank you for this safe place that we have for women of color and women and men of color to be able to come together and just stand in agreement of things that matter and important topics. So we thank you for being with us from the entirety of the event. We give you all the praise and adoration. In Jesus' name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. So I'm hearing there's some difficulties with the link. If you are unable to get into the link, please send us an email at info@worldclasswomen.org and we'll get that to you. So don't worry about that. So if you're unable to log in at this time, just shoot us an email at info@worldclasswomen.org and we'll make sure that you're able to successfully complete the survey. So again, thank you and God bless you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.